Stewie, you could write a good song about the heartbreak of being a Republic of Ireland fan.
I feel like singing a song. You have me sitting on a chair here and ready to go a cappella.
There have been some tough nights being an Ireland supporter over the last few years. That is a night where there's a lot of pride in the performance, but the heartbreak of what Cristiano Ronaldo did and the downer that brings afterwards will also be hard to shake.
Yeah, I mean, I've got time now to just kind of maybe just take it all in. It's very difficult. It's never easy, Nathan. Like, you know, it'll still be sitting with me tomorrow, the next day. Can't imagine what it'd be like for the football team. But my focus on the game tonight was the performance, how we approached the game. It was very key. I was, very keen to see where we're at now, because no huge complications coming into this game. We had pretty much fit team. When you look at the whole COVID situation, Callum Robinson, yes, but other than that, it's positive. You've got players that are fit. You've got players that have got game time under their belt as well, which I think played a huge role in the team selection, especially with Jamie McGrath getting his debut away to Portugal. And you look at the overall performance, and it was excellent. It was excellent. Couldn't have expected it to be any better. Genuinely, when you're going into a game against Portugal, one of the best teams in the world, you're playing away. You really couldn't have expected a better performance than that.
Was that down to the tactics? Was that down to the team selection? What was it that enabled Ireland to play at a level we really haven't seen since Stephen Kenny took over?
I think there's a few things. I don't think Portugal were at it. You have to put you have to be honest with it. They weren't at it. They weren't right. They were loose. No real continuity in their play. They looked a little bit casual. Decision making quality wasn't there, especially in the first half. But you have to take advantage of that. And Ireland did take advantage of that. It could have been a different story for Ireland. Ireland could have just sat back completely and just waited for Portugal to come onto them. But they, at times, when they broke down that Portuguese play, they broke forward with intent, and which ultimately led to the goal, which the corner for the corner that came for Egan's goal. So I'd say almost a perfect first half performance.
We could be here for an hour discussing that game. I don't remember a more dramatic, enthralling, maybe France 2009 and the Henry handball, and similarities in a way with a referee who it feels as though, maybe we're looking through green tinted glasses, didn't do Ireland any favours.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo is always the centre of attention. He is the match winner. Should he have been on the pitch for the incident with Darragh O'Shea?
No, should have been sent off, Nathan. I've no doubt about it. You cannot punch another player.
Does he punch him, or does he sort of...
Nathan, he's hit him a dig. He's hit him a dig. There's a difference between slapping out somebody and just absolutely... He's hit him a dig. He's caught him in the arm. I think when he reacts to Ronaldo, he's not even looking at O'Shea. He's just reacting. You cannot do that. You just can't do it. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. We've got VAR there. All the assistance in the world, all the technology in the world, and yet that's let go. Unacceptable for me. I mean, at least the referee needs to look at it and say, okay, listen, Cristiano, maybe a booking, but if the referee looks at that, for me, it's a sending off. You cannot react like that, Nathan. No, absolutely no way.
Should Darragh O'Shea have thrown himself to the ground, holding his head?
No, shouldn't have. No, should have just taken it. Should have taken the dig on the arm. So that was stupid. I don't know whether that didn't help, but the reality is, you bring it to the referee's attention and you tell him what's happened. Okay, the referee took 4-5 minutes maybe to look at the tackle, the penalty incident. There was 3 different views. We had a very good view of him. He ran to the halfway line. He was looking at it for 4 or 5 minutes. So he took his time on that. I don't know why his attention wasn't drawn to the Ronaldo incident. But black and white for me, should have been sent off.
That whole incident didn't cost Ireland a goal because Gavin Bazunu makes this brilliant penalty save, but it did sum up maybe the referee's attitude to things. As you say, I rarely remember a VAR that went on for quite so long, which would suggest that the VAR, an Italian VAR, a Slovenian referee, that the Italian VAR was telling him, you need to look at this. And in fairness, in real time, we thought initially it was a penalty kick, that Jeff Hendrick was late. But the more you looked at it and slowed it down, they both seemed to get the ball at the same time. The Aaron Connolly incident in the second half. So there's one where he clearly throws himself to the ground. in a way, does that maybe influence the referee that Connolly is going down too easily and that ends up costing him for the later decision that should be a penalty?
Yeah, there's an argument to that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a couple of occasions in that first half where Connolly went down a little bit too lightly. Referee is doing the hand gesture, get up, get up. Referee probably had the right to book him for that, although he did ultimately book him in the for something else. But when you look at Connolly's potential penalty check, I certainly think it's worth a better look than what he gave it. It was one of them where the sign comes up, potential penalty check. I think he just blows it off. I think he just let it go completely. This is all kind of adding to the frustration, really, from an Irish point of view, because you've got somebody who's sitting in a room wherever he is in Switzerland, or whatever the case may be, who has that ability to draw the referee's attention to a specific incident, yet never said anything about the Ronaldo punch. So it just sort of, very frustrating, because you're feeling, hang on a second, what's in the referee's head here at all,
Stephen Kenny said ahead of the game that Ireland weren't just going to sit back and soak up pressure, and Ireland lived up to that. It's exactly how they played. When they got an opportunity to get forward, they did. Like, individually, you could go through 1 to 11 almost for outstanding performances. Like Matt Doherty playing at left wing back.
Thought it was his best performance in Orange. From my point of view, I know you said it in commentary as well, but he was at it tonight. I've always been frustrated with Doherty in the past when he can look a little bit laboured, a little bit disinterested. I know that's the way he carries himself, and it's that calmness that probably makes him the player he is. But he was at it tonight, and it all started off when the first opportunity he got to win the ball back down that left-hand side. He broke well, he's taking on players, he's buying Ireland some time, and it's almost like he needs to have a positive first touch on the ball to really get him into gear. And he was excellent, and not just going forward, but defensively as well. He pulled off some in terms of his positional sense, and he was playing left full. Don't forget, it's not hugely natural to him, but it's not alien to him either. He's a full back, so he should be able to kind of slot in right or left hand side. But positional sense was excellent, so he didn't really put a foot wrong. Ran himself on the ground. He was exhausted at the end of the game. Yeah,
that back three with the wing backs really seemed to work. Like Seamus Coleman on the other side. Frustration of Coleman at times was he's so good going forward. We rarely see it in an Ireland jersey. Seemed to pick his moments to perfection tonight to contribute up on the attacking side of the pitch, but also, in the second half, anytime Ronaldo drifted out to the left-hand side, he was there as well.
Well, he's gotten his mojo back, hasn't he? I kind of feel like we've got our captain back. We lost him there for a couple of years. I don't know whether it coincided with the leg break, a loss of confidence, but certainly in the last year or so, and even with his form for Everton has been excellent. But in an Ireland jersey, you really feel like you're getting that Seamus Coleman back. Didn't put a foot wrong. He was outstanding. To be quite honest with you, Nathan, with the exception of some of the erratic play from Connolly in that first half, I think to a man, the Irish team, played out of their skin.
The defence, pretty much till the very end, barely put a foot wrong. There was the incident that resulted in a penalty where Bazunu played it short, but Duffy back to his best. Egan, monstrous performance from him, capped with the goal. And Andrew Omobamidele, 19 years of age, coming in for his debut. Cristiano Ronaldo obviously realises there's a kid here who's never played before. I'm going to sit on him. I don't think he could do anything for the 2 goals. For a player like that to come through and perform like that, there's so much to take from that performance.
Yeah, I mean, I felt for Omobamidele coming into a one of a back three would help him, because he's got that cover. He had been coming on there in maybe one of a two. You've got you have less cover. You're more isolated as a defender, so it certainly benefited them. I think for any Irish player, again mentioned this in commentary, when you're sitting on the bench and you're watching that game, I mean, they must have been engrossed in it. You can only imagine the substitute looking at going, this is fantastic, our shape is excellent, and you're getting to look at each one of the players and you know what you need to do if you get on that pitch. So I'd say, McLean came on Bombadeli, Collins, the few other changes. They're probably dying to get on that pitch just to be part of it and to play their role. And to be fair, the changes difficult for Ireland because that starting 11, they just, the continuity, consistency was just right, and you don't want to change that. You don't want to change that. But what's happened obviously is you're getting injuries. Connolly got injured. You have to make changes, and then McLean comes on for Connolly down that left hand side. I felt McLean could have done better for the first goal. Stopped the cross. He sort of dived in a little bit, mistimed his tackle, and then he's struggling to recover for the second opportunity. And when it's dinked in, obviously you've got that man Ronaldo waiting to bury it in the back of the net. Can't take the goal away from him. Technically it's a wonderful finish. Second goal is a wonderful finish. Real sickener, but it should never have happened, Nathan, because it's overtime.
Well, John Giles always talks about the genius of Ronaldo being that everything that happened previously in the game is irrelevant. If he's not involved, if he doesn't get a touch, if it's not going his way, he has an ability to put it out of his mind and still score a goal when it's needed. Yeah,
you got to give him credit that, because it's probably the most frustrated I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo in some time. There was a little bit of needle between him and Seamus Coleman. Ronaldo was claiming that he got a little bit of a bang in the mouth and sort of handbag stuff, and Coleman wasn't giving into it at all. And Coleman gave him some verbals. He didn't like that, but Coleman, obviously as team captain, is standing up for it. But you can't take away from Nathan that, you think, you look at him, you think he's frustrated, you think maybe he's out of the game here. He had a couple of snapshots from 25 yards out, which he ballooned over, and you think he's not going to be his night. And
it's always his night.
Always his night. Pops up and gets the winner. But referee should have blown the whistle 25 seconds earlier.
Just one other individual Irish performance, then you've touched on him there quite a bit. Aaron Connolly. I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of debate about Connolly over the next few days, and you actually mentioned this pre-kickoff of his ability to get into the right position, to get goal-scoring opportunities, but his lack of composure when he gets them. And we saw that again tonight. I know it's that old football cliche. You'd be more worried if he wasn't getting the chances, but this is a consistent pattern of he's our most dangerous player, but the end product just isn't there. What do you do if you're Stephen Kenny with Aaron Connolly?
How old's Aaron Connolly now? Is he 22?
He's about that, yeah.
Yeah, he's at an age now where it needs to stick. You got to coach him. Nobody's beyond coaching. Cristiano Ronaldo's not beyond coaching. It's a work in progress. You got to keep on him. But the difficulty is for Connolly is that, McGeady, good example. Never learnt for me. Never learnt. Always had great ability, but you have to have it up here. You have to listen to what you're being told. And you have to, in the modern game, players are well used to having a look at their performances on video and seeing with their own eyes where they're going wrong. And he needs to learn from that, because if he can, Nathan, he'll be a hell of a weapon for us, because there's no doubt about it. He has a wonderful ability to get himself into goal scoring situations. It's his end product now that he needs to focus on, and hopefully he gets game time as well, because that's hugely important for him.
Ireland didn't get the win. A win may not have fully reignited Ireland's hopes of qualifying anyways, but in terms of the conversation that's been going on around Stephen Kenny, now it's one win in 14 games, and that was against Andorra. Do you think this changes Stephen Kenny's future as Irish manager and the conversation around it? Do you think people will look at that performance and say, this actually is an Irish side that's going in a new, different direction?
So this is the performance that he has to make that the start of the next chapter. Okay, this has to be the turning point. Okay, if we don't go and perform against Azerbaijan on Saturday, forget about it. There's no, you just can't have a performance like that and then back it up at home to Azerbaijan with a poor performance. We have to now build on this. It's simple as that. I was only ever looking at the performance tonight. I think a lot of people had written off the result. However, when you look at how Portugal performed, you have to have that ability on the pitch to say, hang on a second, this could be here for us. Even I at one stage felt, geez, we could get a second here. But now, having looked at it, the performance was there for me. There's no doubt about it. I think we got an awful lot right. This is now, this is now the time where we need to show the, not just the players, but the supporters and everybody else that this team is going in the right direction. But Saturday and Tuesday, Nathan, are huge. If we don't get the same type of performance, then we're going nowhere.
How difficult, and I don't know if you've been in similar situations where you've had this massive disappointment so close to the glory, how difficult is it going to be for the players to get back up in the space of 3 days, to fly back from Portugal, try and recover tomorrow, barely have a session on Friday, and then back into a game at the Aviva? How difficult is it to lift yourself again to try and get that sort of energy back against Azerbaijan?
Yeah, it's hard. There's no doubt about it. It's hard. But look, they're professionals. They have to take the positives from it. You know, like tonight's game, Nathan, could have been a disaster for Ireland. If Ronaldo scores the penalty after 10 minutes, it could be curtains, you know, and it could have a complete detrimental effect on the psychology of this team over the coming week. However, Bazunu saves it. It almost acts as a catalyst for this for this positive performance. But you have to back it up. It has to be consistent, Nathan. I mean, you know, we were just having the conversation there about tickets for Saturday. We're struggling to sell them. Like, you know, there's a reason why. You know, I know there's a fear factor maybe of going out into the crowd there, but at the moment, the Irish soccer team isn't a great attraction for people for you know, the reasons that we've seen over the last year. Like, you know, people aren't stupid. The game now, off the ball, all sorts of other platforms. There's so much information out there about soccer. You know, I'm even sick of listening to myself, to be quite honest with you. There's so much, so people are well informed. They know what they're looking at. You can't pull the wool over their eyes. What they need to see is energy, passion, you know, a bit of that. You know, why not a little bit of that? You know, and just to see progress.
Well, you're going to be there on Saturday night. Bring your energy levels. Stephen Doyle is going to be alongside you. The Mayo curse that I bring to our commentaries in Ireland and never getting an actual victory may come to an end, hopefully, on Saturday night. But great stuff tonight, Stewie.
Cheers, Nathan.